Ever catch yourself thinking like, what if my thoughts could actually physically change something about me?
Yeah.
You know, like really make a difference.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to take that question on a deep dive today
Okay.
with Dr. Joe Dispenza's Evolve Your Brain.
Right.
And this isn't just like some vague self-help stuff.
Right.
We're talking neuroscience. We're
Yeah.
talking the power our minds might have to heal.
It's a fascinating field. Really, really fascinating. I mean, for centuries, we've wondered about this whole mind-body connection, right?
Right.
And now we've got science that's starting to give us some real clues.
Exactly. And Dispenza, he just throws down the gauntlet right away.
Yeah.
He says even simple thought just popping into your head is
Oh, yeah.
not just some like ephemeral thing.
Right.
It sets off this whole chain reaction in your body.
It does. It does. It's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
But on a massive scale.
Wow.
One thought, and suddenly hormones are flowing, neurochemicals are firing, even your immune system gets the memo.
Really?
Your body reacts as if that thought is hardwired into your system.
See, that's what I think is so wild.
Yeah.
It makes you realize, like, all those thoughts we have, all those internal monologues,
Right.
they're not just background noise.
No.
They have a real impact.
They do. They do.
So if our thoughts can cause that much activity,
Yeah.
is it such a stretch to think that they could actually heal us?
Right.
Like actually change our physical reality?
Yeah.
That's what we're going to unpack today.
And a key part of that is understanding neuroplasticity, which Dispenza says is crucial. It's the brain's ability to rewire itself. And it's happening all the time.
I know some people might be thinking, wait, our brains can actually change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I thought we were stuck with what we
Right.
got. Like you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right?
Right. Well, it turns out the brain is way more adaptable than we thought. We're not talking about a static organ here. It's more like a constantly shifting, evolving network. Every new thing you learn, every memory you form, it's literally changing the physical structure of your brain.
So if you can picture it, imagine not rigid brain cells,
Right?
but this interconnected web of neurons
Yeah.
that's constantly making new connections, pruning old ones. It's kind of beautiful when you think about it.
It is. It is.
And that means we're not fixed, right?
Right.
We're works in progress.
Yeah.
Constantly shaped by our experiences, and maybe even more importantly, by our thoughts.
Precisely. You're not just the product of your genes and your environment. You have an active role in shaping your own brain through what you choose to focus on, what you choose to believe.
Okay. So to really get this, let's try a little experiment Dispenza talks about. Ready to play along?
Always up for a good brain teaser.
Perfect. So everyone listening, touch your thumb to your pinky,
Okay.
then your thumb to your index finger, now thumb to ring finger,
Gotcha.
and finally, thumb to your middle finger.
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake. Right. Do it again. Maybe a little faster this time. I keep going, but pay attention to what it feels like in your hand as you're doing this.
I can already feel myself becoming more present, less distracted.
Exactly. And Dispenza says that shift in focus, that concentrated attention,
Right.
literally requires more energy from your brain. You're making those neurons light up like a Christmas tree.
Like a Christmas tree. I love that.
But here's where it gets really cool. Everyone, close your eyes for a second and just picture those finger movements.
Okay.
Don't actually move them. Just visualize it. Going through that same sequence, what do you notice?
It's amazing how real those sensations feel, even though I'm not actually moving.
Right. And get this.
Uh-huh.
Your brain doesn't really differentiate between you physically doing the exercise
Wow.
and you just vividly imagining it.
That's wild.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
The same neural pathways are lighting up in both cases. That's why mental rehearsal, visualization, it's not just some whimsical self-help technique.
Mm.
It has a real measurable impact on your brain.
I love it.
So we've been playing with this idea of mental rehearsal.
Right.
But what if we could take that power
Yeah.
and apply it to something like healing?
Right.
I mean, it could vividly imagining your body getting better actually make a difference.
Yeah.
Dispenza doesn't just talk the talk.
Right.
He's lived it.
Yeah.
His own story is like something out of a movie.
It is.
But it really makes you think.
It's a pretty dramatic example of what happens when conventional wisdom kind of clashes with this deep belief in the body's power to heal itself.
Totally.
Dispenza was at the top of his game.
Right.
Successful chiropractor, a triathlete.
Right.
And then, bam, he gets hit with this life-altering accident.
Multiple spinal fractures. I mean, can you
He
imagine
saw them.
getting that news? The doctors were convinced he'd never walk the same way again without major surgery.
Wow.
But what I find so compelling is here he was, a doctor himself,
Right.
but also someone who really believed in the power of the mind-body connection.
Right.
Talk about a dilemma.
And it really highlights that pressure that we often face to choose between, what we've been taught
Right.
and what our intuition might be telling us. Like,
Totally.
on the one hand, you have years of medical training saying this is how the body heals or doesn't.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, there's this inner voice that might be saying, wait, there's more to this.
Totally. And that's exactly what Dispenza grapples with.
Yeah.
He could have easily gone the conventional route.
Right.
Surgery, probably a long and painful recovery.
Yeah.
But he chose a different path.
He did.
One that really put this whole idea of neuroplasticity to the test.
So what did he do?
Well, what's striking is that his decision wasn't just about rejecting medical advice.
Okay.
It was about tapping into something he already knew
Yeah.
from his experience with things like yoga.
Okay.
One of the surgeons mentioned that his spinal movement would be severely limited even after surgery.
Right.
And it triggered something for him.
Huh.
Like he realized he had a choice to make.
Okay.
Either resign himself to the limitations
Right.
that the doctors were presenting or actively work to reshape his reality.
Wow. It's like he took that one comment and turned it into fuel for his recovery.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So instead of passively accepting the prognosis,
Right.
he designed his own healing plan.
What did that look like?
We're talking raw food, hypnosis, meditation, energy work.
Wow.
And alongside all that, he slowly, carefully began doing weight-bearing exercises.
Really?
It completely went against the typical rest and recuperate approach,
Completely.
He was basically challenging his body and his mind to work together
Yeah.
to prove those doctors wrong.
Wow.
And the amazing thing is, it worked.
It did.
He did regain his ability to walk,
That's amazing.
and he attributes it to this multi-pronged approach.
Right. Right.
But it makes you wonder,
Whoa.
was it just the physical therapy, the diet, the exercise,
Yeah.
or was there something more at play?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, and this is where the story takes another fascinating turn.
Okay.
While he's recovering, Dispenza comes across a book.
Literally just found it.
He just found it that talked about this concept of superconsciousness.
The White Book, as he called it.
Like book, okay.
No title, just a collection of teachings
Whoa.
that landed in his lap at the perfect moment.
Talk about serendipity.
I know, right?
Right.
So what does this book say?
Well, the book's core message really resonated with Dispenza.
Okay.
It argued that our thoughts and emotions aren't just contained within us.
Oh.
They actually have the power to shape our reality.
Wow.
It introduced him to this idea that we have access to a power beyond the physical, a power that can impact our healing and maybe even our destiny.
It's like this book provided the missing piece of the puzzle for him.
Right.
It wasn't just about physically rehabilitating his body,
Right.
but about aligning his thoughts and beliefs with his desired outcome. But could simply reading a book have made such a difference?
Yeah.
It does make you wonder, what if our beliefs have more power than we realize? It's kind of mind-boggling, isn't it? Like to think that something you read could have that kind of impact.
It is pretty amazing.
But maybe it's not so far-fetched,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about a time you read something that just like shifted your perspective,
Right.
made you see the world differently.
Totally.
So if we buy into this idea that our beliefs can influence our reality, like where does that leave us?
Yeah.
I mean, Dispenza's story is incredible,
Right.
but he's a doctor, a chiropractor. He's got this like whole other level of understanding of the body.
Right.
Can we, the average person, who might not be a medical professional,
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
tap into this power?
That's the exciting part.
Okay.
Dispenza argues that this ability isn't unique to him.
Okay.
Remember, we all have this incredible neuroplasticity
Right.
going on in our brains.
Yeah.
We are wired for change, for adaptation. The question is, what are we subconsciously telling our brains to change to adapt to?
It makes you stop and think, like, what are those tapes playing in my head all day long?
Right, exactly.
Are they helping me heal,
Yeah.
helping me grow,
Right.
or are they holding me back?
It's so easy to get stuck in those negative thought patterns,
Yeah.
to replay past hurts or anxieties about the future.
Right.
But Dispenza's story and the science behind neuroplasticity,
Yeah.
it offers a really powerful alternative.
Okay.
It suggests that we can consciously choose to focus on thoughts that empower us, that support our well-being.
So it's not about pretending everything's perfect
Right.
or ignoring challenges,
Right.
It's more about that shift in perspective.
Exactly.
What if, Instead of focusing on what's wrong,
Yeah.
we put more energy into visualizing what we want to create, what we want to heal.
What you want to experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It all comes back to that question we started with.
What's that?
What if our thoughts could actually change something about us?
Mm.
What if they have the power to heal,
Yeah.
to transform?
It's a question worth asking.
It is.
A possibility worth exploring.
I love that.
Because when we understand that our brains are constantly evolving, constantly being shaped by our experiences and our thoughts,
Right.
it opens up a whole world of possibility.
We've only just scratched the surface here today,
We have.
but hopefully this deep dive has sparked your curiosity,
I hope so.
given you some food for thought.
Definitely.
And if you are intrigued by this whole idea of the mind's power to heal, I highly encourage you to check out Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, particularly Evolve Your Brain. Keep those brains firing, and remember, you are capable of extraordinary things.